Hey guys, it's your girl, your sexologist bestie Kash. And yes, I dropped my octave a little bit because I wanted you to get comfortable. I want you to get cozy. This conversation is going to be one that takes you on a roller coaster. But what I can guarantee you is that you're not going to walk away from this conversation without feeling like it's fed you in a way that you have been thirsty, you have been hungry, you have been starving, you have been wanting. Because I can always feel the energy when two powerful women are in the room. And right now you got three just sitting at a round table, just collectively sharing their beautiful freaking essences. Look at the melanin dripping. Oh my God. Oh my God. But really, I always think that the universe has a way of creating exactly what's supposed to be. Even if you are trying to shape the direction, you have to be receptive to that shift. And that happened today.
It did.
I did not intend on talking to you guys in one conversation, but as I kept talking more about the conversation I want to have with you, I was like, this needs to come together. So to kind of set the tempo, right? You're going to hear conversations that overlap identity, that overlap wellness, that's going to overlap even illness, right? And healing and recovery. You're going to hear conversations that may address stigmas and may bring about discomfort for a little bit, but I just want to really implore you to stay with it, right? Sometimes we go through that to get that aha moment, and I really do feel like this conversation will bring a lot of that. To kick it off, right, I want to take a moment to allow each of these beautiful ladies to edify themselves, tell you who they are, how they wish to be referenced, and how they identify with the words I am. Any words that you feel you need to put out behind those two words. Feel free to drop them as you could, right? Everything that you are. Okay, so I'm going to turn to my right. And a lot of you guys who are a part of the BK community out there watching, you guys are familiar with this beautiful face. She is one of our leaders in the company. She's one of our people who's been consistent in her branding and her business. But she's also someone who has cracked a different layer. Because, we don't just encourage you to build entrepreneurship internally. We actually want you to build legacy. And I think she's at that phase where she's doing the legacy defining things.
Ooh, so the legacy defining.
Yes, these are the things that they're going to say about her went well beyond her existence physically in this earth, right? So, Noni, my dear, tell them a little bit about who you are.
What's going on? I am the international author, speaker, sexologist, intimacy wellness coach, Noni Fonta, aka the Love Bar.
Oh, okay.
And I am joy.
Oh.
When you see me, it's joy, even in pleasure. Joy.
Can I add a word?
Yes.
Wellness.
Joy and I am wellness. You know what? Yes, I am.
I need that.
I am wellness.
I need that word there for you. Okay, just got to speak that directly into existence in this conversation at the start of it, and then we're gonna just keep speaking it. And I know that
I am wellness.
And my darling goddess, talk to the people.
Hi, my name is Goddess Jessi. I go by many names, but always a bona fide goddess. I am the high priestess and founder of the Sweet Love Sanctuary in Houston, Texas. It's a spiritual community and spiritual temple where we give a safe space for you to heal, for you to connect to your ancestry, for you to discover and develop your gifts from God, for you to tap into all forms of spirituality and bridge the gap between spirituality and sexuality. And also as well, take those gifts and learn how to develop your own practice, your own business, your own ministry inside of what, your destiny has for you. So that's just a little
bit about some of the work you're doing. Not a little. Can we just not a little, a lot of.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
When I think about I am an author. I am a naturalist. I am an Osun priestess. I am a sexy mother.
Ooh, shut your mouth.
Keep your mouth open.
Yes.
She made me open it.
But I am free.
Yes.
I am free to be. And I help cultivate space for you to understand that for yourself as well.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
She said a word that just hit me real well.
What's that one?
Houston, Texas.
Ow, H-Town, where it goes down.
Because that's where I'm looking to move in the next
Oh,
7 months.
you see how
So
it's
when
being
I
moved?
say
Done.
aligned,
I love the alignment.
alignment here.
This is why one of my I ams is that. Oh, I got a little fixing. Yeah.
See, that's love.
There you go.
That's because them things so juicy.
I made sure them shits was super soaking because I know my man gonna watch this later, and I know that he gets his little kinks off where he watch me doing my work. He gets so turned on by watching me in my element. So I want to make sure you get everything you need. You like the view, baby.
Ow, right.
The view.
Yeah, you know something funny? I am a super connector. I'm gonna add that in there right now because that what you just said.
We appreciate you.
What that for? You know what it is? I think all of the lessons that life has been giving me all along, there's a different level of not just acceptance, but embodiment of them that I am existing in right now. Like I am embodiment. I represent continuous. I represent progress. I think that I am a true speaker, but also like I associate with the identity of Wonder Woman, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
But
you do.
when I was a kid, this is the craziest time I knew my ass was twisted in the head. Because from very young, the thing that attracted me to Wonder Woman was her lasso of truth. And I didn't even really understand that at that age. I just thought it was so cool to have the power to make people speak truth, right? And so people might think that it was the strength or the other parts. And then later on, I was like, but you're a little bit of an Amazon too. Hold on. You got a little Xena
Wonder Woman
warrior
came from
princess up
you.
in there a little bit too. Yeah, so then I was
The
like,
height, the body, the way you move, them hips. You know.
and she ain't wear that much clothes.
Right. My
Oh,
woman
so
after my own heart.
Yep.
You feel me? I said I am
Yes.
Wonder Woman.
Yes.
Yeah, and I like Wonder Woman over Super because I feel like Super feels like when I hear that word, it has to be extra, it has to be exaggerated. And I think that we've been conditioned to always feel like we're not enough, so we're always chasing this aspect of being the woman who can handle it all.
Right.
That's sometimes to our own detriment, but wonder feels wonderful.
Yes, and there's some mysteriousness
Some mysterious.
there.
Ooh, I like
there's some
that.
limitlessness there.
You see what I'm saying? You know what I'm
See,
saying?
Y'all just had me look at it in a different perspective. I'm never big on Super anyway, but the difference between Wonder and Super.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
And she
I
was the
like
daughter
that.
of a god who was the god of war. When you think
Yeah.
about that too, that was another thing that really resonated with me. Like she was the daughter of the god of war. And people look at war from one perspective. I have these weird, crazy tisms that
As always,
I'm
nobody
like,
don't
oh,
want to
I'm
look
the
at.
same.
The glasses has something in it.
right. You don't always look at conflict. I don't see conflict as the problem. See people's lack of ability to resolve conflict as the problem. The reason whenever there's conflict, it's because something matters.
Yep.
Right.
And it's more so people spend more time focusing on the disagreement as opposed to focusing on what is the thing that makes this matter so much that we're willing to fight about it.
Right.
And then I think when you start from that place, you actually have a productive sort of discourse going through it. Even if it's not a one-day fix or if it's over time, you've at least accepted that it matters enough to do it.
Exactly.
And so people don't have good conflict resolution because they haven't really connected to why that resolution matters to them, in my opinion,
Yeah.
right?
It's that communication. That's the thing that a lot of people lack. I can say whatever it is, but are we even with the communication? Are we taking into consideration what the person is saying? Are we listening to respond or really listen to listen?
Ooh, you
Because
sound like
that
my man.
is what and where the conflict causes. Because you're the first thing you're doing is, oh, well, you need to do this. Wait, but I didn't ask. Did you think that I asked for a problem solver? Or I want you to hear what the issue is and how maybe you can assist me, maybe you cannot. Maybe I just want to vent.
Right. You know,
Yeah.
inside of effective communication, I find that people may know that they feel a certain way, but they might not really be present in what that means for them. So like that expression is one
Yes.
thing, but really to be able to interpret like what is it that I'm not just feeling, but what is happening inside of my body. Because sometimes just expressing is that, but what you really need to be able to articulate.
Articulates the word
what
that
you
sat
really
there the whole
need
time. Yeah.
is a big disconnect inside of like bridging the gap from just this is where I'm at to
Right.
this is where I need to be.
Mm-hmm.
The word I was looking for was comprehension.
Yeah.
Because people communicate, but they're not comprehending what someone
what the
comprehension
intended
people.
message was too. Not just what you comprehended, also going back and saying, is this what this communication was intended for? Is this what they meant?
Right.
Because sometimes things get lost in the translation of,
Most
right?
times, yeah.
We've become so accustomed to speaking in metaphors that we can't even discern what's real in our own goddamn speech half the time.
Right.
And I think what that also feeds, that's counterproductive, big time, is a constant reduction of what matters to me due to its lack of importance to you.
Right.
And even if having the comprehension or the understanding of what my experience is, my ability to articulate it in a way that allows you to at least get that understanding so that you can respect it, even if you don't adapt my level of,
Right.
of sincerity or feelings or power around it. So, because that minimizing is often what I think gets those impulsive responses and the conflict going, because it's not that serious.
And not that
Right?
serious is the worst thing you can say to someone, because it is serious. Because obviously a person wouldn't be bringing something up if it wasn't serious. And even if it's only serious to that individual who's bringing it up, sometimes we got to take a step back and look at and listen to, sometimes they do this and I'm not considerate enough to see the body language, to hear the, nah, that's all right, after I asked 15 times, or what it is. Like, what are we doing? So it's really in consideration. Why are we getting upset? Because somebody brought up something that they have spoken about many times. They're tired.
And you know what I think, where it creates a relational problem, and I have to call out to our men more on this one. Not that it isn't an equal accountability, but I do think that this is an aspect of leadership that so many women are seeking in men that is a little lost. It's also knowing when it's not that serious, and actually maybe it's not and I'm having an overreaction.
Right.
Maybe it's that serious to me, but I haven't figured out that it's only that serious because that's not the key core problem. That's just a symptom of the core problem that has never been addressed. And when you have an effective leader, they don't look to minimize, they seek to guide you towards that understanding yourself. Even if I can see the problem, but I can't just tell you that's the problem. I need to help you discover that this is the problem.
Right. Yes.
And it works, I think, with men, where it could kind of be like, if you don't trust in your own leadership or your ability to guide someone to something, that insecurity alone will cause you to deflect or for persons, start to do those narcissistic things.
Yeah.
Just because your own insecurity about your inability to either understand or lead you to understanding.
I'm laughing at what you said, because that was a conversation that happened recently with myself and my partner. Was, I don't want to give you the answer. I just want to talk to you to let you figure out the answer. So what you said that was, and it was like, not that I don't want to give you the answer, but I know if we talk about it, you'll be able to figure out the answer on your own. But you have to know how to actually I don't want to say pull it out, but technically pull it out in the conversation.
And women have lost that art of using our feminine powers. Okay, ladies, we done looked at it as soft, as weak. We done equated that the wrong way.
Because
we don't realize.
We got to think about media is the one that has made it that way, because we can be feminine, but we just so focus on not allowing, trying
to do it all.
That leadership.
Superwoman.
I have another perspective on it. Taking a step back from like the men and the women, because I feel like we have to have these certain traits that are naturally like seen as a feminine trait and naturally seen as a masculine trait to come that together to actually lead. Because when I hear you saying, the things about how you want your man to support you through that kind of conversation, if they don't have that empathy, if they don't have that emotional intelligence,
that's the reverse.
How can you possibly? It's easy to deflect and say it ain't that big of a deal because you rationalizing it,
right?
Versus the emotions, and then even the same for us, we may be expressing and emoting emotionally, but we can't really process our thoughts to put those things together. And so, what I find inside of relationships is like being able to really identify your traumas, because like how you were talking about, I want you to figure it out for me. That could be something that stems from how you were raised. Like maybe problems weren't just Like, I get it and I see you. It was like, we got to go through this process together. And for you to be able to really identify like where those things come from, to communicate to your partner, when I'm in this, I need
this.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Or this scenario.
You just hit it on the head.
That's the gap.
Because last week was a really rough week, right? And I remember saying to my partner, this conversation is great, but what I personally need right now, and it was only within 3 days, and I felt like the week was a week.
Right.
I said, what I need right now is actually physical touch.
I feel you.
And when I got that physical touch, it made me feel like whatever happened was I knew it was going to be okay, but not having the physical touch.
Yeah,
It's
you
different.
Need
Yes.
your nervous
When
system.
You
nervous
said the word that's
system
sitting in the
needed-
back of me right now.
Yes.
I'm waiting because y'all are
when you
doing
live
the
by
thing.
when you live by yourself and things are going on,
You're not used to
you
co-regulation
either. You have to regulate yourself,
Right.
And yes, it's good I hug myself, but you need that extra person to be like, yes, right now is hard.
So you know
But we gonna
something
get through
so
this.
interesting. I'm smiling. Y'all are flowing through the agenda in like natural form because y'all don't know the questions that's in my hand. And it's happened. They're getting answered. Information, the right information shifts the action and application.
Yes.
Even when I'm teaching the body and anatomy, I can teach you the body from an anatomy standpoint, but what you do with that information needs to now be custom tailored to this body.
Yep.
And the application, right, that or methods that you use, the actions you take with this person, with this body, should be a combination of not just that biology, but the information you've learned from this person that also factors into it. But to the point of what you made, when a person is experiencing something that they have not yet formed the vocabulary, emotional intelligence is impossible without vocabulary because you have to have the right word, because there are a lot of synonymous words that can seem close but are not the same. And we have gotten so used to just grouping it together when no, there's some specifics. And I'm saying this to say, I'm a growth seeker personally. I don't wait for my man to tell me that there's something I'm doing. I look for where I can improve.
Right.
And then I receive what he says. And when I say that, it's like I check me before he can. And I think that mentality was not something that I did before because I didn't feel like a lot of people was worth that damn effort. But also what I realized then is, so we just had a conversation the other day, real ass scenario. And I looked at him and I kept saying to him for 2 years, I've been saying the same exact thing. And it was not fucking landing. And I'm like, but you are a pro communicator. What is going on?
Where's the block here?
I kept saying to him, when we have these conflicts, even after we resolve it, you have the ability to go right to the next thing.
Yes.
I don't transition that way out of it. And
Neither
even
do I.
right. And then the
not a
other
light
day,
switch.
the fucking vocabulary finally hit me. I've been saying to him, we don't have the same process, but I haven't really not just explained to him what my process is because I was having a hard time verbalizing it because I
didn't
knew
know.
it internally, but I didn't know how to
Yeah.
convey it to someone else. And so I had to
Vocabulary.
say, you know what, before we have this fight again, I need to figure out what the words is to help them understand my process and where they differentiate, but why my process is important to me.
Right.
And it finally hit me. It's like the brain, we see a body that's lifeless, right? That the organs are functional, but the brain is not. They deem that person medically. I'm just saying, I'm using these lifeless, even though we know they're not, right? But also the reverse. If your brain is operating, but the rest of your body is paralyzed,
Right.
it's also a form, right? Where now you're alert, your brain is there, but your body's not responding to what your brain is telling it. And so there's a separation between the logical processing that the brain needs to move
Right.
through conflict and then the emotional regulation that the nervous system needs to say, I'm safe now, I'm safe again, I'm safe in this. Right? So when you don't feel like you can talk to a person, you've eliminated 50% of what's required
safe.
for the emotional safety that you need to
First
be
of
able
all,
to
I need you to be out my conversations that I'm having at home.
Yeah.
Because safety was actually brought
It's the biggest
up.
thing. It's most of the
Is-
time it comes down to there's an action that made you feel like you needed to regress because we have different trauma responses.
Exactly,
You know?
exactly.
And when I said to myself, okay, Kash, you've been telling him that you don't move on the same. But then when I said to him, I want you to know, I believe you when you apologize. I understand that you're realizing you're wrong, you're acknowledging it, and that I see also the times where you're working at it.
Right.
But I know you're, even though it's not fully unlocked. I said, however, sometimes you think the fact that I haven't moved on means that I'm still, right? When now my brain has processed it, and now my brain is telling my nervous system, okay, you can start to come down now. And then my nervous system says, okay. It goes over here, says, okay, you good. And then it goes over to this part of my body and says, okay, you good.
It might take a little
and
bit.
yes, it takes a little bit.
You were all in my body
Same.
this weekend.
Same.
That's exactly what
But
happened
once
to me
I'm
this
there, you're going to feel it. And so he would come and try to just kiss me. And he would feel rejected when I would go like that. And he would internalize that as a rejection of him.
Right.
When my nervous system is saying, give me a second. And then when I said to him, I don't want to hug you in that state, not because I don't want to hug you,
Right.
but because when I hug you, I want you to feel the genuine warmth and the love in it that I know you will not feel if I hug you right now. It is not personal. And once we had that talk and really started flushing it out, and I helped him understand, my body has been trained through my life of trauma to have this response. And I am really good at regulating in certain scenarios, but I'm human, and certain feelings are going to straight up take me right the fuck back to that man.
Absolutely.
And our perimental disorder, and my perimental bitch gets in, she tags team in the brain. They get together, have a whole little party, and they be like, bitch,
Right.
you
They ready to tag team.
Yeah.
You know? I get it.
What?
I'm telling you, that was me
this sounds very
weekend.
similar. You know, you sound a lot like my partner. You know, we too have, you know, those same conversations because, you know, you're always going to have those times where things just might be a misfire.
Right.
And what I love about our dynamic is that we are very intentional about working on it, working through it, and know that, you know, we're on the same side.
And you feel in it together.
You feel in it. But I would say, you know, I'm with a bona fide Pisces man.
I'm a Pisces woman.
See, you know, I know it.
Look at Tahoe, look at Tahoe.
I already know. You know, I love that crazy shit.
That empath crazy shit is, yeah,
You know?
it's a blessing and a curse.
Love it.
I'm the
Love
whole
it.
Virgo. I'm the whole.
I was gonna ask. That
You're
was
in my
Gemini was
shadow.
what you was giving me. So
You-
I was
you're in
trying
my
to-
shadow.
Gemini?
Yeah, I was trying to see which one it was.
It's
but,
Virgo.
You know, we may get into it or what have you. And to me, that indicator of like we really good is when you can connect and give me that touch. Because we can have the conversation. We can go through it. But, you
Once
know,
you
my
put-
intuitive, empathic ass, I'm like, I still feel this.
And you
wall.
I can't hug you like this.
Right.
can't-
And
yeah.
I did also take it like we not really good. Or like there's levels to being good. Like we good in conversation, but not in
The
in
Intimacy,
our
in the
body.
physical.
But
Yeah, and
which-
it takes them a while. You know, you
Right.
got to swim through it, and
But
then
intimacy part is what's actually going to which will help us heal at the same time when you think about it. So when we do get that hug, even if we're not in the
there,
right
it
space,
gets you there.
that intimacy is actually going to help it regulate because your central nervous system is going to be because like you said, your brain is like, no, but your body's like, but I actually kind of
This
feel
feels
safe.
safe.
It doesn't feel like I'm overwhelmed because your body does know the overwhelm negative, no, I don't feel safe, and
Right.
the I feel safe type of environment. So we forget that, yeah, you may not want to hug them, but that hug right there
Might be the
at
medicine you
will
need.
be the
And
medicine
sometimes,
Yeah.
that
and you got to have a
need.
person who knows the difference. I even had to tell him, if I'm angry at you, here's what I need. But if I'm angry at something outside of you, here's what I need.
And
It's
that's
not the
great.
same.
It's not the same.
Because
It's
if I'm
different.
not angry with you, I need to protect you from the blast radius. I actually will
That's
isolate
real.
because I do not want to put those things on you. Your
That makes
partner
sense.
is
You don't
the
project that,
easiest
yeah.
punching bag
Yep,
in your realm,
it
especially
is.
when you lived and cohabitate, right? So now it's like I'm not really upset with you, but I know that the smallest thing that I might have typically have a stronger patience or threshold
my
for
irritation
today
might
might
be
irritate
there.
me,
Yeah.
and the smallest thing will have me now giving you something that was never for you,
Right.
And so now when it's that, he knows I need to give her a little bit of space to come down to a point where she can let me know what's going on.
Right.
Versus if you piss me off, you better not motherfucking ignore me. You better come over here. You walk away and be like, I'm gonna give you space, and you just want to give me and this
Intimacy.
brain space and opportunity to think about how.
Right, you better get in
Wait,
there.
what
So this
we
is something really.
No.
This is something that me and my partner created because, especially when we're talking about things happen or whatever, and things
Right.
happen at the inopportune times. Like it's time to fuck.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Why we
something,
Girl.
Why we fighting?
something happens.
Don't make me laugh because
right?
you know, bitch, I went through that whole cry, but at the end I was like, I still want
Right,
dick,
you still
right?
give me a little dick clean,
I
right?
want a dick right.
So we created this energy called the reset. Right?
Ooh.
Because you may be both feeling however you feeling.
They're aligned,
And it's
yeah.
like who's gonna be the one that's gonna wave the flag and then,
And
initiate, or that's gonna make that
I think
gesture.
it has to be both,
and
too,
we both
sometimes.
like, well, I ain't there. Well, I ain't there. And so we gave each other permission to say when one of us realize it, because one of us may click before the other.
You call a
we
flag,
gonna call reset,
and then both people got to do it.
But you say,
that.
can we reset? And sometimes you're like,
No.
yes.
Or yes.
And sometimes
no.
you're like, no, and you may still have to whatever. But when we both call yes, then we decide, we come together, we do, intentional hugging. And he is tall. So my head is always at his heart. You know what I'm saying?
We
That
love
dick, that dick is always at my gut.
You're good.
I love that. We love that. We love that alignment too. We like all kinds of alignment
Right,
around
that
here.
That's
Yes.
that good alignment.
And we decide to do 5 slow, intentional breaths. And in that time, it gives the body a chance to be like, this is my partner. This is my person.
To remind you.
Let me send love. Let me receive love. And then after that, 5 intentional, not making out, but kiss.
See, that's
and it's
good.
a
I like
system.
that.
It's not anything we think about. It's not anything that we feel about. It's just, this is what we do. This is the formula to
We know
get
it
us
works,
back.
too.
And it does. It does help to, okay.
Which is why we also prioritize check-ins, because we also realize that sometimes that missed opportunity to get on the same wavelength within the moment of the day, or maybe my day took a turn. It's important for me to make you aware of that turn, because last time you spoke to me, I was sunshines, rainbows, heart stars, horseshoes, clovers, and balloons.
Right.
Now you call me back and I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now I'm not happy.
Now you over here wondering if a bitch is in there doing a seance and casting nigga voodoo on your head. It's like,
I don't even want you to touch me.
he jokes about me being a witch all the time. I'm a high priestess.
Right.
But
that's an understatement.
okay, I transmute this energy that you're giving me. I want you to know that.
It definitely is play a part.
I have something I feel like I want to say to you,
Okay.
based on what you shared about your partner, that may give a different also perspective from a woman, Pisces, explaining it.
Sure.
One thing I learned about us, and I know you probably can relate from the empath realm too, is the reason I also not only went down to why does my nervous system need so much more time than my brain, and when I answered that question, that was the real work beginning point. It's literally because I experience your feelings and mine simultaneously.
Right.
I need time to separate that. That's the first thing. That's the first thing the nervous is doing, separating this from that. The other thing that I've also recognized from not just being in the empath field, when you're a great communicator, there's an energy that goes into that communication, because you have to work sometimes not to say the first thing. And you have to work to say, okay, this is what I want to say, but I know if I say it that way. And so now I'm doing the labor of having a thought, processing the thought, reframing the work of that thought to give it to you in a way that I feel like you're going to convey it. And there's a frustration that also comes when I do that work and I'm still not landing, and I'm like, okay, we got to try another way, try another way. And while I'm still in it, and while I'm still committed to trying another way, the toll of the energy exertion that it takes to do that, by the time my nervous system is not angry with you, it's just tired. It's a little exhausted. And so it's almost like I have to restart the whole system.
That
the whole
makes
computer needs a
sense.
reboot. This is the motherboard. And in that point, my brain is not telling my body what to do. My body's telling my brain what to do.
Yeah.
And my body keeps saying, don't let it go yet. Don't let it go. Brain's like, no, we good. We resolved it. We got, and the brain, there's a whole conflict that you're internally dealing with, this cognitive dissonance of, I love you, I don't hate you, but I also,
Right.
So what I started to understand, that it made me more intentional about now what I do to get my nervous system regrounded. And sometimes it's exactly what you said. Sometimes, depending on the scenario, I gotta tell the bear, just fucking hug me, right?
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. You got to think about this. Though.
Sometimes he fuck me and I'm gonna cry.
And like that great release I needed.
It's that
We
that
good.
babiness.
What you want for dinner?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So you got to look at it in this way, right? My focus is intimacy. Everything about being intimate I see before I could be anything with anybody else, right? So if you're overwhelmed and you're so used to taking care of everything yourself, no matter what it is, every single thing yourself, when you have someone that's like, hey, I'm here. I know you're going through something. I know you're angry.
Yes.
I know you.
Words
I
of
know.
affirmation.
I know. I get
Touch
it.
of affirmation.
But
Come
if
here,
you,
let me- yeah.
but if you don't, you have to be able to say, I need that hug. And for me, when I look at my quote unquote love languages, quality time and physical touch.
Yeah,
but I
same.
realize that the affirmation is starting to creep up a little bit. That was never a thing for me.
Yeah, I can see how that changes
Perimenopause
over
to do it.
time.
Look, keep using the word change.
Right.
We ain't talking about the change that we
Yes.
really need to be talking about in this, because once we start getting them hormonal shifts,
true.
which culturally,
And our partners too.
right?
Yeah.
And I know that, and I want to ask you a question on
Sure.
this, because I think you probably have some perspective that really a lot of women could view. And then I have a separate question for you, because when I first stepped into perimenopause, I had to first figure out a way to reframe the way this was presented to me. First of all,
Yes.
the medical system is extremely
Yes.
negligent in the way they communicate certain information.
Yep.
Bedside manner would be a minimal fucking way to reference it. This is
Absolutely.
beyond bedside manner. Sometimes you're delivering life-altering communication to someone.
Yep.
And
In the most
insensitive ways.
No cares
and without
whatsoever.
having preset a support. You're asking me if I need support after you already triggered me, as opposed to making sure the support was there in the event that I became triggered.
Right.
It's a reactive
And
sort of
delivering it
way.
negatively.
And don't let my problem be something you can't solve, and you don't want to admit your lack of competence in that realm.
So
but
you
anyway,
talking all that, and as a person with chronic illness,
that's why you think I'm on. You
Right.
think I'm not on purpose with this? Look, because it's some real issue. So now we're dealing with managing our responses and reactions in those environments, especially as Black women, when you're
Yeah.
naturally going to sound hostile the minute your octave goes up just a slight decibel.
Right.
Even though we're talking about my life.
Yep.
We're talking about my health and my body. I'm not supposed to
Mental,
be passionate about
physical.
this.
Yep.
But what I also kind of wanted to get to in the process of me saying I have to find a way to reframe it, I actually found the positive reframe going back to my ancestral origin. And so I have about 70% of my ancestry that goes back to Nigeria, specifically Igbo, small percentage of Yoruba tribe, but all that shit was from all that thing was Igbo land, right? And so I also learned that my grandfather's father was a direct immigrant from Nigeria, so that's why it was such a strong potency of it in my DNA. So I've been to Nigeria 5 times within 1 year, and I know what I felt every time I touched down. I know.
Yes.
But I had some conversations and some conversations over there. And that's what made me think, you know what, maybe I need to look for that solution. Perimenopause in my tribe is referred to as like the second rite of womanhood, the second passage or rite of womanhood. They do not mourn perimenopause because they feel like,
it.
yes, they celebrate it because this woman is about to inherit a level of wisdom, and not just wisdom, but that it's a discernment that gets paired with it.
Power,
And now she's going to understand the power of speaking that wisdom and that discernment and where she needs to share it with space. It's like I can't begin to tell you how once I started doing this and I started like, instead of fighting my biology, fighting everything, going and leaning into it, the enlightenment will have you forming a whole new album of Negro spirituals. Let me just put it like that.
Wow.
Yes. Because I was reading it, you know it's some shit when you, as you're doing your research, you're going,
Feel it.
You start saying, everybody knows that deep bass Black woman.
It's like, ooh, this is what I've been feeling that time. This
And
makes sense.
And it's clicking. It's
Yeah.
making sense. It's coming
It all
together.
felt right because it put the perfect language to everything that I felt like I was experiencing. I was like, I don't know if I hate this because I'm seeing these other things that are coming out of it that are so good for me right now. And that's giving me this clarity I've never felt like I had. And I'm like, oh shit. So I said, okay, I gotta go back to the origin and start looking at it as like, what do I want my second right? Or when I come through this passage, right? What do I want to be crowned? What do I want? What do I want to be what I receive on the other end? And that is shaping how I approach perimenopause, giving my body what it needs. Stop fighting it on days that I don't. If you can be afforded the opportunities, we're entrepreneurs. Some people have 9 to 5s. I know sometimes you got to go to work on days you don't feel like it.
Right.
But like, what are you intentionally doing during your different cycle phases and to prepare for that? What are you doing to prepare for the unexpected fluctuation? Because while I might not know when it's going to hit, I know there's a time it's going to hit. What do I have on hand for when it hits?
When it hits.
So we're not being reactive like them damn doctors. So I want to ask you, because I know a lot of your healing work, right? And this is where it's going to teach straight back over to you. Because I do think that the conversation of all of those things is one thing, but I think that the conversation gets an additional anomaly when you have a illness or chronic that you're also managing at the same time that other stuff is going on. And
It's a different thing because for me, how majority of women my age are going through perimenopause, I have a hysterectomy. So I still have my ovaries because of my history of blood clots, but it's different for me.
Right.
Yep.
The
So
hormones are different and everything.
unfortunately, there's a lot of things that people are going through, and they're talking to me about it. I'm like,
I ain't had that experience.
I don't have that.
I also think technically a hysterectomy is almost like a medical fast track of it.
Yes,
Right.
right. I had
Right.
I had my hysterectomy. I was 36.
So that's around the age that
Yeah.
it can start for someone, but like it directly automatically overrides the natural process and takes your body straight into it. And so also like our thresholds in our 30s is not the same as our 40s. So a lot of women
right.
are, you know. So I do want to ask first from you, right?
Okay.
Because I know that you mentioned your work going back to understanding or reconnecting with that ancestry and how that healing process can be different. When it comes to that realm, what are some of the most simplest forms of honoring that ancestry or practices that you think we have gotten away from, that if we could just start incorporating these small things back into our ritual, like our regular daily rituals, we might see those slow, subtle shifts that empower us to continue and be
Yes.
committed to, you know how it
Right.
is. Like you trying all this shit. If it ain't nothing making you feel better, it discourages you.
True,
Right,
but you got to
right,
think
right.
about some people aren't trying them long enough to even.
That's what I mean.
Right. It's
even
not a
link to
one-time
help.
thing.
It's not a one time. I can't do it for 30 days because a lot of times, even though they say 21 days make us a break a habit, but there are certain things we have to do at least 90 to
Oh, yes.
90 days to 6 months.
Sometimes you have to
Even
have
a year.
We are getting so y'all think we just don't have patience with that world. We don't have patience with our damn selves.
That part.
So-
Because we're moving so fast.
Yes. So I think where we're dealing with it is we're in a society that's training the brain to consume short form things.
Yep.
We're already being trained to not put in the work, right?
Right.
So now I feel like someone in your space, you have that additional factor to now also have to incorporate. So what are some things that we can do to give ourselves that patience,
Right.
small, to build up to the tolerance and the true level that we're going to need to go through the real work?
For sure. Man, okay, so many things, but small,
notes,
simple
y'all.
things. We have a concept in our practice called Ori. And a lot of things that we're talking about is programming. We've been programmed, menopause means this. Sex means this. And those programmings, you hear those words, they do things in your body reacts, and you have certain wellness or dis-ease because of it, right? And so Ori is a concept around our consciousness. It's our divine consciousness.
Okay.
And we honor our divine consciousness just as much as you will honor your ancestors or a spirit or what have you, right? And so we believe that to have a strong Ori is to have a strong ability to connect with the creator, connect with the earth, connect with your body, connect with whatever it is you're trying to do. And so in my program called Queen Healing, the first thing that we have people do is understand that concept. And every day before you wake up and put your feet on the ground, you pray to your Ori, you pray to your own consciousness. Right.
You're speaking it into your own
Yes.
mind.
And
Ooh, I
so
love
you will touch your head.
that.
Thank you for waking me up. Thank you for being strong, focused, and pointed towards my
So
destiny.
there's a gratitude expression in
Right. But you
incorporated.
can also put other things. Thank you for being balanced. Whatever you're going through inside of the menopause or how you're
love that.
feeling, you say those things to yourself every day, and we even have a space where, to take it to another notch, you can have an altar for your divine consciousness. So a space outside of yourself that you honor and exalt
I love that.
yourself. And you have that mirror there, which is like the focal point, which is you. And it sounds tiny, but to honor your physical head, the energy, the consciousness that's inside of it, and also the connection that it has to the creator and the connection that it has to your
your
inner guidance, your inner, gut. And so, for 90 days, that's how long, the journey is. Every day you are growing and building upon honoring your Ori. And so if you're programming to yourself, my womb is healthy, my womb is balanced, my whatever it is, it does have an effect over time. And that is a practice of mental health versus just saying, let's be mentally healthy or whatever. It's
Right.
something that you put into action. There's even other things where, let's say you have an altar space for your Ori. You have a little bowl of water there, cool water. And giving your head cool water can sometimes, you have anxiety,
Yeah.
you're overthinking, you can't, whatever. Put some cool water there. The water is programmable. You pray, you speak it to it, and you just give yourself some. Just like you give your ancestor offering of food because you want them to help you navigate Sally Mae that's fucking with you at your job. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you don't need that. Maybe your head need to be cool. You know? Also,
that just came.
That was the first thing I thought about.
What
that
I
was the
opened up.
first thing that in my head was like,
I don't want to interrupt your flow.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
So after you do, remind me to come back to this.
Okay.
And you also surface something that I want to pay forward, but we got to go there, and I want you to help me with that.
The other thing is like some honey. Have some honey there, and every day, wake up.
I'll have some honey.
Pray
right
to
now.
your Ori. Sprinkle a little cool water there to give homage to yourself, and take a spoonful of honey because that honey it is
Soothes that throat
very
chakra.
medicinal. Putting that inside of your body, it gives you motivation. It activates things in there, but also it makes your words, your tongue,
Your
sweet.
throat chakra. It coats your throat with protection too. Y'all got to think about that.
ooh.
So sometimes, you're trying to figure how I'm gonna deal with what you call. Maybe you just need to sweeten your
I
tongue.
swallow a
I'm
spoon
gonna
of honey
ask
before I
you a
drink hot tea. So it's so
question.
funny you say
You
that.
already know. See, the thing is, us as these women, as these divine feminines, and the masculines, y'all have that.
Y'all
in
got
you
it too.
Yes.
We have what's called a knowing unknowingly. And you may not be tied into every day what's the practice, and I got
You just
the
naturally-
academic.
do it naturally.
It's in you. It's in you, and we are in a phase that's been happening for a while of remembering what has been dormant or docile or hidden
Yep.
in us.
Oh,
It's
child.
coming big to the forefront, and all of these things. We're elemental people,
Yes.
So us working with the elements and working with ourselves is really going to be the thing that's going to like bring it back and bring it up. You know what I'm saying? To where we really are connecting to what we call spiritual technology has already been there, but we've been disconnected from because quick movement. And
You know what's so funny about that when you said the unknowing.
Knowing unknowingly.
Knowing unknowing.
That's like an old
That's
church
like
saying.
Tahoe and I's platform, unconsciously competent. Yeah. Where it's you start to practicing it unconsciously because it's already a part of, and you don't always understand it. So it's so funny you say that because you're right. A lot of the ritual things that I do now, I didn't form in adulthood. I formed as a child coping through trauma, right? But now I'm starting to understand why I was drawn to those coping
Right. It makes
mechanisms.
sense. You just thought it was just things.
Yeah.
I'm
Like
just
I
quirky.
purposely got in the tub to cry.
Right. Not knowing the water is a portal for
And to me, I felt like if I'm
process.
a release, little me was just like, bitch, it's easier clean up, right? You just, right? I ain't got to get no tissue when that snot come down.
Right.
That was the logic of
That was
Right.
because you're a little Cash because you don't know
little
any
Cash,
better.
Not knowing you're
Cash-
a woman of the water.
baby, look, and I'm a Pisces, so we at the deep
say
bottom of the
less.
damn ocean. And so I also started using analogies associated with that. I would describe how I was feeling throughout the day as floating, sinking, or swimming. Either I'm moving forward, I'm remaining idle, or I feel like I'm going under. And that was my own personal scale. I would ask myself, what are we doing, Kash? Are we swimming? We sinking? We float? So I always attached it to the element of what I think the elements of other aspects in nature always were there, and they started to form stronger. But water was always the strongest element that I connected to.
For me,
yes. And then I got older and it became fire added.
Yes.
Of course.
So for me,
because you're gonna connect to all of
what
them.
I need the heat.
I need grounding. So beside a Virgo.
Okay.
As a Virgo.
Okay. That should have been the first sign.
We love you.
As an earth sign. So grounding for me is by the beach. Mm-hmm. So I have the sand and the water. I can touch a tree. Yeah, that's cool. But that grounding.
Probably the graininess.
The graininess in the sand. It brings me back to like I've been saying.
Ooh.
When I'm
Some
here,
things coming
I'm
to
going
me.
to a beach. Go ahead, tell me. I'm
can't
ready
get-
for
one
it.
thing
So the sand being different from like the tree and dirt, it is the earth that holds the world up, and so there's a depth there, a depth,
Girl.
that I can imagine you're a person that when you feel or something, and don't like, you could go deep within where can't nobody get you out. They gotta.
Yeah,
You know?
Yeah, she has. So what we're not gonna do right now is talk about the way she's triggered me, right? Because she is one of those people who we gotta send somebody knock on her door, right? Because this bitch gonna play with us and act like she don't see me call. Okay, and then I don't need to talk to you today. Just say alive and hang up, right? That's it. But you know what's so funny about the sand? Because you did that when we went to Miami. Together. Yeah. What I think about with sand, see, this is why we need these conversations, because our brains all go in different ways and it all comes back. Sand is one of those annoying ass elements. You ever realize you go to the beach, it's coming home with you? I don't give what you say.
For a long time.
You're gonna be shaking sand out of a lot of
get my ass.
Wow. The sand is like, I'm outside. Yes. And the thing is, no matter what you do, I don't care what you blank, what you bought,
like glitter.
It is coming with you. So it's so funny that you picked an earth element that literally is gonna leave with you. I can't even.
But Goddess, what you said. Go ahead and finish your thought.
So there's a Orisha called Olokun. Everyone probably knows about Yemaya, the ocean, right? Olokun is at the depths of the ocean. Olokun is connected and holds our ancestors that jumped over the boat during the Middle Passions. So there's a deepness one with the ancestors. I'm sure you're probably heavy with spirit, that you know all those things.
I am half Puerto Rican, so what does that mean to you?
I mean, just
what does that mean?
I mean,
spirit on spirit.
Spirit.
And what am I supposed to be practicing?
Yeah.
I already know.
Well, I mean,
per se,
the thing is how you're moving with the elements is already happening. You know, I'm just giving you some words to
what
put
I've been
to
feeling
energy.
and what's been going
right.
on.
So that's why we gotta watch you when we take you to the beach. We're going, because you might go into that water.
And the Pisces in me gonna be like, don't forget that the water is crazy, bitch.
Right. And when you get in there, it probably
pulls you.
That
Let me
water
tell you
probably
something.
kicks up.
I learned a lot about that too. I learned I practiced the phrase, you can't hold water, which is why it's the element that I love. You can't hold me. Well,
I'm an Aquarius,
right?
I'm a water bearer.
So, see? And my man is an Aquarius. And you were with a Pisces. Ain't that a lot of habits?
So opposite.
So, and it's crazy because when, you know, I don't know, she's speaking, I'm like, I feel like I hear him and I heard my man and you. So it's so crazy that happened. But I say that you can't hold water. You can put it under heat. What is it going to do?
Boil.
Boil, evaporate, condense, and come the fuck back down wherever it went.
Right.
You can freeze it.
Yeah.
You can, no matter what you do to water, you cannot eliminate it entirely.
Water brings you to life and it takes you out.
Exactly. But also I look at the ocean as some of the most beautiful things, some of those beautiful sounds. But you put
And
your
it
ass
will
in the middle.
kill you.
Yes.
Put your ass in the middle and see if she don't send you where she want.
Yes.
And if you, I don't care who taught you how to swim.
That's
you
right.
could have got lessons from Free Willy himself.
Right.
She's gonna throw you where she, you know. So
and that's a cleansing in itself. It is.
It's
a
purge.
There's a statement in our practice that says water has no enemies. You know, no matter, like you said, the creation or the destruction of it, water has no enemies.
It just transforms.
I want to speak to a concept because the menopause is coming
in the back
up,
end,
right? We also talk about Iyami. Iyami means mother of me, but it is the sacred mothers. It's the primordial mothers. It is the energy and essence of Mother Nature itself, which shows up, like you said, in all of those forms and all of those things. And we do go through various stages of connecting to it. It's an energy that people are scared of and all those things, because a powerful feminine energy is
it's a force.
It's uncontrollable.
Not to be reckoned with.
And of course they want to
control
that.
Right.
And so there's three aspects of it. There's the creation energy of the divine feminine, of the primordial mother. There's the sustainability aspect of it, and there's the destruction aspect of it. And I think when we go through these different phases of getting your cycle, of bearing children, of going in menopause, those are all creation, sustainability, and destruction. We are taught to shy away from, avoid, and fear destruction. And even inside of where I am in my own life, embracing destruction as feminine power and
like
necessity.
A hurricane.
Exactly, necessity. And so what I can find is another practice to say for women that are going into certain phases is that we shy away from funerals, death, and all those things. When you realize you're in a certain phase, come to an acceptance that it may be time for you to give the woman you were before this a funeral.
I think that's the menstrual, right? We're stepping into that menstrual cycle because you're shedding your uterine lining, right? From a biology standpoint, that's what you're having.
Yeah.
But you're not just shedding. Like when you think of what is being shed, right? It's a part of the, like you said, that creation cycle. I especially want to hold space really quick, and I have to say this trigger warning to any woman who's listening to this who's had reproductive traumas and who has specifically had things directly take away her ability to procreate physical human life, right, from her body, because it doesn't mean that your ability to create has been taken. It's just one type of life force that you may not be creating that way. But I have to give that to you right now, because sometimes we have these conversations and you guys are not talked about in it, right? And how those changes to your body, those chronic conditions that tend to those lifelong results, literally shift the relationship you have with your womanhood,
right?
And it somehow makes you disconnected. Yes, you feel like you're disconnected from this huge part of everything that we made being a woman. Your motherhood is an extension of your womanhood. The woman is first. It doesn't define it. It sharpens it. It refines it.
And giving birth doesn't necessarily mean you're not a mother, or carrying does
we are
not
the
mean
parent to many things.
Not a mother. You are a mother to many.
So still honor your cycles. I'm saying that to say, even if you're not going through the same physical thing, still pay attention
emotionally,
to
it's still happening a lot of
you're
times.
going to still feel the things. You're going to notice when you're noticing, okay, my energy just dropped. It just dropped out of nowhere. Your estrogen, that means that estrogen that was thriving may be toggling downward. And maybe it's also getting hit with that progesterone is doing opposite things.
You might miss it because you're not bleeding, but it's still happening.
Because that is the part. Go based on what you feel.
But that's embodiment, and many of us are missing that. Many of us are not tapped into, oh, I feel this, so I know that there's
this
a shift,
is what's going on.
Means that. And so that's work. That's work to slow down, to step back, to sit in that, and to really feel like this shift means this for me, to understand who you are. Then you'll have the capacity and argument to tell your man, this is what I'm going through.
But that goes with that goes with the fact of intimacy. Hello, into me.
And I was going to say where your journal could be really helpful for a woman in that process is it still invites you to go through that work, that body mapping, that pleasure mapping, that wellness mapping that I'm starting to realize we need to bring into the talk too, because body mapping for pleasure versus wellness can collide, but they don't necessarily always look the same. But your journal, that mirror, that deeper connection within yourself that you have on that cover, you need the reflection. But here's the most important part that I think I have to say to you guys. I did a conference I got to shout out Kiki and Nisha, the organizers. They were organizing the Melanated Sex Expo, but they rebranded it to Pleasureverse. Kiki and Nisha, okay, Pleasureverse was no joke this year and all stuff. And I
love it.
I had the honor of going out to Arizona and spending the weekend with them. And my keynote was actually the whole aspect of that year was about the power aspect, right? And I needed to come at it from a different angle. I spent the whole weekend feeling. I didn't write my keynote until the night before.
It be like that. That's how a good pastor is, honey.
I couldn't even. I'm not putting. I need to just fill this place for a little while.
So we can see what the congregation
and I knew yes. And so I walked in there, and there's something I have to say that I want to echo out. We talk about the mirror work internally with ourselves, and you also reference being able to communicate that to your loved one. And I'm going to say loved one because it can be your intimate partner, but it can also be
your family,
anyone in that circle, right? Where we are missing the mark in healing, and I think this is why our community is constantly remaining in this cycle, vicious cycle that we're trying to get out of, but we can't seem to climb out of, right? I think about our ancestors trapped in that triangle, right? And just being pulled down. No matter what you're doing, just being pulled down. Bottom of the ocean came, right? I need you to realize that the internal work you do when you reflect outward what you see does not reflect with others seeing you too. And you also need that introspect perspective, but you need the safety of community to now process on what you have discovered.
Right.
Going through the healing process of discovering and then trying to do the repair on your own, to me, I think is actually what's damaging us. I think because we have,
see yourself
you can't always see ourselves, but you know what the other part of it is? You cannot offer yourself safety in that moment moment because you are triggered literally.
Right,
So the
right.
part of that nervous system we keep coming back to
Yep.
is not calming down, not because you're having a conflict with someone else, because you're having a conflict
within
internally with
yourself.
yourself.
Yes,
Because you
yes.
finally making a decision to get within yourself, and it's so hard when you are focused, when you're the oldest child, right?
Oh, honey.
When you're the oldest child, what happens?
Don't get me started
Child.
on that.
So am
Yeah,
I.
hello.
Okay.
How we all three the oldest right here?
Well,
right?
you
Are
know.
we surprised?
I know. Been a mama since I was.
But you're a second mother. That's what
Right.
we really just need to rebrand that term to second mother.
Right.
So when you're the oldest, you always learn how to take care of everyone else. You always learn how to be there for this person, be there for that person. You don't know how to be there for yourself.
Yeah.
So then you go through things in life, right? And then finally you get to an age that you're like, hold up.
Right.
Fuck these
Fuck
people.
this. You all right?
So
My perimental bitch.
I'm
That's what I call her.
I'm gonna be honest. As someone who's turning 49 in a month,
Where?
yeah, it's like, oh, so I really stopped not giving a fuck because it's been happening for like the last year.
Right.
So
You just realized it.
But I'm gonna say I really realized it these last few months. I don't give a fuck. And sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't. But I do notice that you don't like me. Okay, then why are you following me? Why are you watching me? What is it about me? Because obviously it's something. I don't need to know you don't like me.
Because they
what
don't
do you
like
do?
you. They don't like what you bring up for them about them damn selves.
Yeah.
A lot
But
of
that's
times.
but that's the whole thing. You got to be. When are you gonna sit back and look within yourself? I've done way too much inner work, way too much, and still doing the inner work for me not to be where I am now.
Absolutely. Congratulations.
Thank
Let's
you.
celebrate you inside of that work. And I totally agree with what y'all saying. And I think it's twofold. I think there's work that you do got to do when nobody's watching you and God. But then there is work that you can't tell how much your work is working until you go
out
and
into-
interact with
Yes.
others.
We don't
It's
exist
just
in
like
this world by ourselves.
fasting. Like, I'm fasting. I've been in the house for 60 days and I ain't ate not one burger.
Right.
Which is different than you out and you drive past McDonald's every day.
And you're resisting that. Yes,
that's-
right?
that's-
And so there's
that's true.
some things
It's
that
a
we
layer
have
of
to
the
work
healing.
on.
We're denying ourselves when we don't realize we need
Right. You
the
need to be
safety
able
of,
to just
of
be able to
some-
say, nah, I'm good versus I've avoided it.
And I think that's where people where people are not understanding the difference. You know, avoidance and being disciplined are two different things. And so many people
and
are
avoidance
in
and discomfort.
Yes.
Well, yeah,
and
but a lot of
discomfort is necessary.
Yeah.
In the work that I do, with the sanctuary, we have certain aspects where I say some people they study in monk style and some people study in monastery style. And I understand certain people have their places, but there are always times where those things may have to switch or collide because community is a medicine that you don't understand how impactful it is in many layers.
Right.
Like we talk about, being in menopause and why am I struggling with this? Well, you've got the maiden, we got the matron, you got the crone woman that's trying to come through where the little girl is still from all of these years never been recognized, never been healed. Like
And
we talk
wasn't
about the
prepared.
oldest daughter.
I've been
we
saying
missed our
We gotta get
childhood.
just tossed in that bad boy.
Yeah. A lot of times as the oldest daughter, what we missed was our true childhood.
Right.
Was our
I've been
true
saying
teenagehood.
I've been saying for like the last couple of months, like something how I'm 5. They're like, I said I'm 5. So for me, I'm
okay.
5. And that's why joy is my 2025 word. And that
that.
is going to be continuous, even going into 50.
Yes.
Next year, I turn 50. It's all about joy.
And
I realized I changed the color yellow. It's joy.
Yes.
So I'm
yes.
5, and the 5-year-old just wants to. She just wants to do whatever she wants.
You got to go watch Inside Out.
Yeah, and
I haven't seen the new one yet.
You got to go watch both of them in order.
I haven't seen
I
that.
guess
But
I-
so this
It'll
is
change your
bringing me-
relationship with the word joy too.
Okay, so this also brings me to kink and BDSM, right?
Yep.
Because you're
Ooh.
5, right? So that brings us into age play, that brings us into dynamics and different things like that, and how inside of these spaces, the therapy, the somatic embodiment work of allowing you to what I call nest. You get to nest inside of a space to heal the 5-year-old you as the, powerful and empowered grown you,
Right.
but also to be able to articulate, give me this experience so that I can appease
The
that
5-year-old.
5-year-old girl.
Because the
so the
5-year-old
50-year-old girl
would
can be
be
even
better.
bigger.
Right. Because the 5-year-old was cool until trauma happened.
Exactly, until
Yeah.
that button was pushed.
Until
And-
that
she
trauma
had
happened.
to
and
adapt
people
to
try to
that.
chip
And then
in
she
that.
had to attack. So right now she's like, "Ooh, what we doing? You know, we
My little
getting
girl,
on,
I think
we
my-
getting on a plane.
yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
So like when I was flying, I took pictures of the sky, and my tagline for the pictures that I posted was, when you hear the phrase "sky is the limit," what does that mean to you? Which most people be like, "Oh yeah, the sky's the limit." Is it really the sky that's the limit? Because when I looked at the clouds, there was still
It's
a lot more sky there.
Right, it looked like it was the ocean, and
Right.
there's more for me.
You know what's so
Exactly.
funny about this discussion? Well, first of all, my little girl's always here. She's a permanent spot in the kink realm. My little and my middle. I have to say, I have to acknowledge both of them. Because we talk about the little girl, but the teenage girl had a whole nother experience that the little girl did was separate. Both of them went through some stuff, and both of them weren't prepared in ways that they thought they might have, you know, been until they were in those moments. And then some of them had the kind of preparation that didn't come by lessons direct, but more so by lessons that you had to learn through
Through the
circumstance.
issues, yeah.
When I sat down and I did some of that work, I even recently I put it all in writing. I'm one of those people that will feel it, voice it, then I organize it to articulate it so that I convey it to others. And I did that with Tahoe, actually. That's my brother, right? And I felt like I needed to give this information to someone other than my man, than something other than someone who also represented that to me, but from a different space. We call each, I call my twin flame. I knew that he would understand certain things differently, and it wasn't that my man was incapable of any of it, right? Yes, but we also have different aspects of our experience that are aligned in a way that me and my man can't, and it's not a trauma bond; it's more so an experience bond, right? But what I'm really getting to, and everything that I'm hearing, the little girl, she went through foster care. The little girl, she wasn't the one who got sexually assaulted. The middle girl got sexually assaulted. And my failure to separate the two of them was like, it was different, right?
Mine was little to teenager.
Right. And
So I haven't got to her yet. Like she's in the, we went to therapy, so we need to focus on that little one.
I don't want to say fuck therapy, but I'm going to say fuck therapy for the
Yeah,
sake of right now.
right.
Not holistically am I using that term, but I'm going to say
Right.
fuck therapy for one reason when it comes to the middle girl. In this particular situation. And the reason why I say that is because that cycle we were talking about started when the middle girl became of. When you entered your first rite of womanhood, your first cycle began. They taught you how to keep yourself clean. They taught you how to maintain the hygiene, how to keep it quiet. It smells. Make sure you throw your pad away.
Don't let
leave no shit
nobody
on the
see
sink.
it.
Right.
Hush, hush,
You don't want no
hush.
accidents. You don't want to get
It's
embarrassed.
shameful.
Yeah.
So she never learned about any of her cycles, even though they kicked into gear for some of us as early as 10.
Yeah, 9.
Or 9.
Yeah.
Right?
Or even
So some
9.
of us are at that phase, kicking into gear these cycles that us grown women are talking about today.
Yep.
You said she hot in her ass. No, she's ovulating. You said that she got a moody ass attitude. No, she's in her luteal phase.
Right,
You
right,
saying
right.
that she's lazy. No, she's menstruating and she really probably shouldn't be doing shit right now.
Right.
You
Right.
saying she's in a good mood. She's happy. No, she's in her follicular phase. But nobody taught her about this for her to recognize it early. She doesn't start recognizing it, right? Until shit
she's
start throwing
older.
all of it.
Or like you said, it doesn't. What I'm researching, what I've seen too, is people are not talking about those 4 stages. I have noticed it in the last year, and that's only because women my age or the 40 up club, between 40 and 45. I know you didn't hit that age yet, but I know you're going through perimenopause. But I'm saying the normal is like that 40,
That higher,
45
Right.
up, right? So my age bracket, my decade, they're talking about that stage.
But now we're talking about it at a point in our life
when it's
and this is where the education
when
comes
it
back.
ends in.
Once we get this wisdom, it is mandatory
For us to
It's not
teach the
optional
the
to make
younger-
sure
the
go back
younger-
to our little
younger ladies.
girls.
Yeah, so inside of the sanctuary, a big thing that I have pushed is like, opening up these gifts that these women have. There's a woman inside of my community. She created a book called Becoming Empress, and it talks about all these things from to give to the little girl before she starts her cycle or when she's young, to evaluate all of these aspects of the physical, the medical,
Yep.
the pleasurable, the all the things, you know. And if we had this knowledge when we were young, oh
It would
my
be
gosh,
so
that would
different.
change things. And so,
Right.
you know, I am gonna, you know, toot my own horn and being obedient inside of opening up this space for women, because the more of us that unlock and realize and share this information that we're learning, I mean, it's like they say, heal a woman, heal a family, heal a community,
Heal
heal a
everything.
nation, heal
Yep.
the world. And so I can see these things rippling out and rippling out
sorry.
and rippling out. And, you know, y'all my sister, so y'all can't get rid of me.
Shit, I'm
but
physically
I'm proud,
warm
I'm
right
proud
now.
of the work, you know, that has been done and that what is continuing to be done. But, you know, inside of some of the things that we do in our healing journeys, we have practices around speaking to yourself in these different phases. And you talk about things that we could do, you know, going to celebration when your cycle starts.
Right.
You know, like, what is the first experience that you have once you bleed for the first time as a young girl that creates a ripple about how you feel about yourself? You know, what is the experience that you have when you're told you're going through menopause? What it creates a ripple, and we want to start to create positive ripples, you know.
I feel like we need to start celebrating menopause.
Celebrating
and,
yeah.
and perimenopause.
It's all a reframing.
Because it's, like you said, what you said about the young lady who just started her cycle. I can think, like, what flashed in my mind a couple of episodes of different sitcoms where they did a whole party for her, and she's like, what the hell is this? But the mom, you know, called everybody, you know, you go and call everyone, but have you made her feel safe to even, you know, I feel like that goes with permission.
Yeah.
That goes with consent. And I know that people only think about consent in the sexual BDSM realm, but as a little girl, she may not want anybody to know, but talking to her and ask her, do you think it's okay that I let everybody know this is what the change of your body is? Because technically that's like the first part of consent with her body.
Yeah.
When you look at it, we don't think about it that way.
Giving yourself permission to
But
go
giving,
experience it.
but because
And
then that,
educating her on the options, on educating
Right.
her on people knowing what does that mean, and you know, so she can make a. And I could definitely see that for sure. In other cultures, they do this, and dads, moms, brothers,
Yes.
uncles, you
They
know,
celebrate
like
it.
You know, you also will learn how to protect her. And you said something about the healing aspect, and I really do commend you for creating spaces like that, because it goes back to the healing, but also the healers need healing.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
And one of the themes in this conversation, I promise you, I wrote this down because I'm not planning any of this conversation. It's happening, but I planned it also at the same time. And I wrote down that I want to have a conversation about how I've also believed that a huge part of what's causing this lack of access to wellness and pleasure that we've technically been denied throughout our we've been
Absolutely,
denied access to
absolutely.
that for a long time, and now resources determine how much access you have to wellness and how much access you have to pleasure. But not even just that, it's also we stopped protecting the healers. Like, I also thought
Yeah.
about the ancestral cultures. The healers were protected. People understood that these were people whose energy had to be guarded, had to be protected.
Right.
People were fierce. You could not mess with no healer. And you know what? We have a million of them. It's the auntie on the block that all the little kids listen to, and you know,
That's
who run the
right.
Timber Association,
Yeah.
who always
Yeah.
just take care of the kids.
Grandma, the
He bad as
grandmas.
hell, but he listens to her.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. And we stopped protecting our healers. And so now I believe that we're in this state where that repetitive exertion of the energy that is required to be a healer, even when you have your own restoration practices, without the protection of your community understanding, you taking it in. Like you
Yeah.
said, we're taking it in. We become depleted, right?
Yep.
And when we start to
Speaking to
see,
me.
yes, our healers actually start to experience the exhaustion that comes with it. And when we don't have the people who were meant, literally divinely put into earth to bring us back, are now not even operating within the energy to even bring
What
themselves right.
What
It's
you're
one
speaking
thing.
about is what I've actually been going through as a healer and an empath. I am depleted. Anyone that knows me personally knows that I am so not
I'm
who
happy
I
you
have
said
been
that.
in the last 2 years.
And you never will be.
I won't go back to that person, but sometimes it scares me. This is,
I can see that. I said we were gonna crash.
this is honest. Sometimes it scares me that I don't feel the way I felt.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't feel, it makes me feel bad that I don't have the sympathy and empathy
Yeah.
for the way it was before.
Yeah.
But I have to look at, okay, 2 years ago you was this. You found out last year you were in a manic state. Don't know what that's
that
from,
mean,
what
yeah.
that meant, what that was. So when I say the inner work that has gone on with me, it's, if you have been around me, know me, you will truly understand what it is, right? So I've even said in therapy, damn, I kind of feel bad that I don't have this, okay, so, you know, how can I help you? You know, it does make me, this is real. It does make me feel bad.
I understand.
But the other part is like, Noni, you know how drained you were?
Right.
You know, people would call you and no one asked, were you in a good space
Right. Do you have the capacity?
to even listen? And I remember saying that to a friend of mine. And I'm going to be honest, ever since I said that to her, we would just happen to have a conversation. It wasn't even that I needed to say that. Anytime she's going through something, when she calls me, she asks me, what is your mental space? Do you have the capacity to be there for me? And if I say no, she respects it, understands, and we'll talk about something else. And then we'll go in a conversation. And I'm like, okay, so now I'm in a better space. And this
What
is
you
this and
got?
that.
Yeah.
And what you got? But I really have. And this is the first time I'm speaking about it out loud, that it bothers me sometimes.
Which is why I was going to say something you said earlier. I didn't believe to be true when you said it, but you just realized it yourself. In my opinion, I felt like you just guided yourself to it. You said you don't give a fuck. You do. I don't. It's the discernment about what you give a fuck
Yeah,
about.
and taking action on trying to fix it.
Exactly. It's
versus
more
letting it
so
be.
what you just said is so, first of all, it's one of the realest things I've ever heard come out your mouth. And we've had a lot of talks. But when I say that, I mean, you're starting to hold space for the version of yourself that you've constantly compartmentalized, that you tuck, because not every space is safe for these emotions. Not every space can you bring them out. And then here's the thing, when you have a life that sometimes feels like it's carpet bombing you, like you don't even get to fully recover from the last occurrence before the next one,
thing coming.
you start tucking, you got a storage unit the size of motherfucking you got big size units, small size units, the small traumas, big traumas, and they all in there. And you got units that you go and visit and open every month. You got units that you ain't open in 20 years. And so
Is that why
start you realize look,
right now?
they start
Well,
saying
the things that happen in life be
Look.
reflection of what's happening internally.
and eventually you're gonna run out of space.
Right.
And that's the thing we gotta realize, there is a carrying capacity. I love words like that. And when I get on the elevator and stuff, what can it hold before it breaks?
Right.
Know your carrying capacity and honor it.
And
That's
now
how
the
you protect
space-
your boundary.
For sure.
That
So
exists
now
there.
my space is not open as it used to be.
I feel you.
Especially with going through chronic illness. So
You got to protect yourself from more than
I
one
have
layer.
to, and I know it's wording, but when I say,
no,
oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah, no, you-
when I say that, going from having a normal life where you can go and do all these things and you just feel great to, oh, so I have a blood disorder that things could trigger and I can no longer be here.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And sometimes people don't understand that. And then you sit back and you're like, okay, I passed it. I got it. I had it. Okay, this is the diagnosis is this. Okay, cool. And then you get hit with DVT again.
Yeah.
Can I want to come to you,
Okay. Yeah.
but can we pause really quick?
Yes.
Can I say this prayer out loud?
Yes.
You open to receiving it?
Yes.
You open to receiving it?
Yeah.
I am the kind of person who, when it really matters, I write the prayer so that I can go back to it and I can be intentional about the words that I choose when I speak, right? I don't like to, sometimes you freestyle, you know, sometimes words hit you. Sometimes you have to purposely go and look for them words and find them, put them down and remind yourself. This is the affirmation. I crafted a prayer that I wanted to cover me from my crown to my feet, right? When you look at all the chakras, the prayer, I titled it as the prayer of rooted alignment and divine stewardship. That's what I've named the prayer. God of my ancestors who knew us before our names were spoken. God who has carried us through storms that we did not think we would survive. We come to you before you grounded, open, and willing. And for those of us who are feeling like that connection and that portal of openness is closed, I need to ask you to help us open it. We thank you for the lesson of these past years, this entire life experience, the things that broke us open, not apart, for what taught us discernment instead of resentment, for what showed us that survival was never the goal, alignment always was. Today, I pray from the root of that being to the crown of our spirit over me and my sister sitting here before you, and every woman and every soul and every spirit, every man watching. The root chakra, the foundation, the safety, survival. I see that I am supported. I know that you are supported. I believe and I know that you are supported. We create safety in our body, our home, and our finances. We affirm that our needs are met without panic or fear. We confirm that stability follows us through us and our children. We manifest consistent income and financial security because we know that the fabric of our community requires it to stabilize, but to grow. We manifest a life where rest and safety are no longer luxuries, but normals. Our sacral chakra, our creativity, our desire, our emotional aspects of us. We pray to you over those emotions that we know are really just sacred messengers, not burdens. Those emotions that we know create pleasure, creativity, and joy.
Ashe.
Without guilt. We affirm that our sensitivity is power, not weakness. We confirm that our bodies remember how to receive. We confirm and we manifest healthy intimacy and emotional fulfillment. We manifest creative flow that produces both joy and abundance. Our solar plexus, our power, our confidence, and our boundaries require it. And God, we know that you see us, but we also see ourselves standing in earned authority.
Ashe.
We create clear boundaries without apology. We affirm our right to take up space and be compensated for the space that we occupy. We confirm that confidence replaces self-doubt, not just something that we have to live. We know that it only exists with the certainty that you give us. I'm a manifest right now leadership opportunities that are aligned with the values that we carry. We manifest the courage to not just choose ourselves, but choose ourselves without shame. Our heart chakra, our love, our compassion, our healing needs you. I pray for the protection of my sister's heart. I pray that my sister's heart never remains closed, even if she feels as though it is right now. We create love that is mutual and nourishing. We affirm that compassion does not require self-abandonment. We confirm that grief and love can coexist and still expand us. We manifest deep reciprocal relationships. We manifest healing from trauma without erasing my softness. Our throat chakra, our truth, and our voice and our expression need it. God, we come to you and we see you as guiding our voices in the divinely way that you intended for it to be utilized. We create language that heals, teaches, and liberates. We affirm that our truth is safe to speak. We confirm that our silence is no longer the default. We manifest platforms that amplify our voices and the voices that you know need to reach us. We manifest communication that brings clarity, not conflict. Our third eye, our intuition, our wisdom, and our discernment. We manifest beyond illusion straight into the truth and the transparency that I know you all are guiding us to as we go through this change. We create decisions rooted in intuition and evidence. Your life is the evidence. You need nothing more. Okay? We affirm that our discernment protects us. We confirm that what we trust is not just what we sense, but also what we see, even when we don't think we can believe in what we are seeing. We manifest clarity and choices and timing. We manifest protection from manipulation and confusion. Our crown chakra, our divine connection, and our purpose require it. We see ourselves aligned with God's assignment. We see ourselves not just aligned with that assignment for ourselves and our lives, but for the lives that we are meant to impact as well along the way. Okay? We create through divine partnership, not exhaustion. We confirm that we are guided, covered, and watched over. We confirm that we walk in purpose, not pressure. We manifest spiritual peace, mental wellness. We manifest abundance that flows through me and us and blesses others. God, we acknowledge you. We acknowledge what we have learned. We have learned to rest without guilt. We have learned that asking for help is wisdom. We have learned that our sensitivity is sacred. We have learned that money is aligned in the hands as a tool for freedom, not evil. The way we have been conditioned to believe.
Yes.
God, I ask you in conclusion to please cover our children, to cover our loved ones, cover our work, our mind, our body, and our spirit. Let what we touch be fruitful. Let what we build be lasting. Let what we release no longer chase us. We received everything that we have prayed for today, not in fear, but in faith, not in force, but in flow. And so it is. Amen.
Amen.
Ashe.
And Ashe.
Yes.
Yes.